the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Well, everyone, happy Monday. For those joining us directly from Clubhouse, good morning. If you are with us on the other side of cyber at 8 a.m. Monday mornings Eastern Standard Time, thank you so much for joining us now right here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, where we are live for the Practitioner Brief with the CyberHub podcast. Good morning to David Harshil, the awesome James McQuiggan. Anthony, good morning to you as well. And Chai Cup Cheers, Harshil, and I will be toasting that in here in just a moment. So July 26, 2021, folks. A very relaxing weekend for security practitioners outside of, a bunch of Microsoft stuff. Really just a pretty simple and easy weekend. So I hope you guys all enjoyed your weekend. You had a good time, got some rest and relaxation. Last week was crazy. I hope this week's a little bit slower for a lot of us practitioners because we need time to catch up, but we know that our adversaries will never give us that. So with that being said, let's get right into what's going on here today. But before we do that, a big shout out to KnowBe4 and Ativo Networks for being great supporters of our show. Thank you so much. Go and check them out. You can see more about them in the show notes. And now my traditional double espresso. Yes, it's lovely. It's beautiful. I know some of you guys are on your second cup of coffee like Mr. McQuiggan. This will be my third this morning. Oh, my second this morning. I do need to brush up on this, but I'm hoping this Monday is better than last Monday. Last Monday was just crazy. So cheers, folks. Coffee cup cheers. Thank you, McQuiggan, for that. We will always give you credit for coffee cup cheers, man. And for Harshil, not to forget you, buddy. Chai cup cheers, C3. So here we go. Good morning to Bob. Thank you so much for being here, Bob. Let's get into what's going on right now, where enterprises are being warned of a new attack called PetitPotam, which exposes Windows domains. So enterprises are being warned about this, where malicious actors are able to take complete controls of a Windows domain. The technique itself was disclosed last week after France-based security researchers Lionel Gilles, aka Topotam, posted a proof of concept exploitation tool named PetitPotam on GitHub. I love it. So I studied French for 4 years when I was young. So whenever I get to use my French accent, I love it. So PetitPotam. Petit is small in French, by the way, just so you guys know. Good morning to Igor. Thank you so much for being here, sir. So PetitPotam abuses the encrypting file system remote protocol, which is designed for performing maintenance and management operations on encrypted data that is stored remotely and accessed over a network. An unauthenticated attacker can use PetitPotam to get a targeted server to connect to their server and perform an NTLM authentication. Microsoft has published an advisory saying that PetitPotam is a classic NTLM relay attack, noting that there are several mitigations to take place, one of which is enabling the extended protection for authentication feature on ADCS services. However, some people are not happy with Microsoft's response. Of course, everyone's always got an idea until they actually have to do it themselves. So I am going to leave that one there. In an unprecedented event, folks, this is groundbreaking, monumental. Take a sit back, relax, breathe. Congress actually did something. The U.S. House of Representatives passed last week several cybersecurity bills, including one related to critical infrastructure, industrial control systems, and grants for state and local governments. One of the bill focuses on critical infrastructure is the Cybersecurity Vulnerability Remediation Act, which aims to authorize the DHS CISO to assist owners and operators of critical infrastructures with mitigation strategies against serious vulnerabilities. The bill covers vulnerabilities in IT and OT systems, as well as security holes in hardware or software that is no longer supported. It also authorizes the DHS to create a competition for identifying remediation solutions for vulnerabilities in IT and ICS products. Woohoo! The House also passed another bill. Yes, they did two of them. I'm telling you, I'm mind blown right now. Like, I wish I had OBS on, because I would totally have an explosion behind me. So CISA Cyber Exercise Act, which establishes a program within CISA with the goal of promoting regular testing and assessment of preparedness and resilience to cyber attacks aimed at critical infrastructure. The exercises would simulate significant impact from a cyber attack on government or critical infrastructure networks and would help organizations improve readiness and incident response capabilities. And folks, good things always come in threes. Here we go. Another bill is the DHS Industrial Control System Capabilities Enhancement Act of 2021, which requires CISA to improve its ability to identify and address threats to ICS, particularly systems used in critical infrastructure. This bill, which has not become law yet, will require the agency to maintain cross-sector incident response capabilities, provide technical assistance to stakeholders, and share vulnerability information with the ICS community. However, the State and Local Cybersecurity Improvement Act seeks to authorize a new $500 million grant program whose goal is to provide funding for cybersecurity to state, local, tribal, and territorial governments. The bill will allow state and local government organizations to request funds that they will use to address cybersecurity risks and threats to their IT system. And guess who's in charge of that one? CISA, not TSA. CISA, not TSA. CISA, not TSA. If you're wondering why I'm saying TSA, folks, go look back at our episode last week. I guarantee you, your jaw will drop like my head just exploded at the fact that Congress actually did something. The fourth bill passed is in the Senate this week is the Domains Critical to Homeland Security Act, which authorizes the DHS to identify supply chain risks to domains that are critical to economic security. While it does not specifically mention cyber, it could be applicable to this area as well. And this specific bill is now on the desk of the president to be signed into law. So Congress actually did something this week. Brush up on these. Talk to your legal team. If you're in critical infrastructure, you're about to get a ton of support. So get all of those ducks lined up in a row and make sure you're able to take advantage of these programs. Our next story today is Kaseya obtains a universal decryptor for REvil ransomware. The vendor will start to work with customers affected by the ransomware attack that rocked the world on July 2nd, except for yours truly. I enjoyed my 4th of July weekend. The attacks, which exploited the now patch 0-day in Kaseya's VSM or VSA platform, affected Kaseya customers in 22 countries using the on-premise version of the platform, many of which are managed service providers who use VSA to manage the networks of other businesses. 60 direct customers impacted, 1,500 downstream customers of those MSPs were also affected. Kaseya has gotten the decryptor through a third party. It's unclear if a ransom was paid or how they got their hands on the decryptor. So good for Kaseya for getting it. And let's hope that decryption actually works this time. For a lot of folks who don't know, decryption oftentimes does not work, meaning specifically that there are issues within decryption where the decryption key or some of the idea of backing up the data doesn't always work as promised by the threat actors. So we'll see how this works all together. Our final story of today is the SeriousSam vulnerability in Windows 10 and 11. There is now essentially a workaround for this, and let's get this taken care of right here, folks. So SeriousSam allow attackers with low-level permissions to access Windows system files to perform a pass the hash and potentially silver ticket attack. Attackers can exploit this vulnerability to obtain hashed passwords stored in the security account manager and registry and ultimately run arbitrary code with system privileges. The vulnerability is tracked as CVE 2021-369-34, and it exists in the default configurations of Windows 10 and 11, specifically due to a setting that allows read permissions to the built-in users group that contain all local users. Mitigating it is very, very simple. First, delete all users from the built-in user group. That's a good place to start. Restrict SAM files and registry permissions. Allow only for administrators. This will only, again, solve part of the problem. If they steal admin credentials, you'll still be vulnerable. And don't allow the storage of passwords and credentials for network authentication. It's a CIS benchmark, but nonetheless should be done. If you want to mitigate without risking or causing damage to production, set up a test environment that will simulate this, analyze the impact of the rule change, and then make adjustments as needed. You can see more about this online on our website and in the show notes, folks. So that's it for our practitioner brief today. We'll have a lot more tomorrow where I'll be back again here at 9 a.m. If you missed, guys, go to Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, let me know. Follow the CISO Talk Club. Follow the other side of cyber. Some really great conversations are taking place in Clubhouse. Really, really good ones. Be part of the conversation. Join us there. You can ask questions. It's really cool. So be part of the conversation. We'll be back with a lot more tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, thank you everyone for tuning in this morning. And I'll see you then. And until then, stay cyber safe. Cheers, guys.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.